The first step should always be clearing the denominators, as in this example with just numbers in the denominators. So let's go ahead and work through this problem. So the process we learned is we're going to find the least common denominator of 2 and 3. So in this case, that is 6. So we're going to multiply every term by 6 over 1. The reason for that is I can take 2 and it can divide into 6 evenly 3 times, which gives me 9x squared with no denominator. In the second term, 3 goes into 6 twice, so that leaves me with no denominator but just the number 16. On the other side of the equal sign, there is nothing to reduce, so we multiply by the full 6 and we get 24x. So by doing this, we now have no denominators to work with. We can simply organize our information. So we're going to subtract 24x and put it over here, because I want to solve the quadratic, so I need everything equal to 0. So in this particular case, I can go ahead and factor. This is 3x plus 4, excuse me, 3x minus 4, and 3x minus 4 equal to 0. So again, let's set these equal to 0. 3x equals 4. That gives me 3x equal to 4. So x is equal to 4/3. So again, this was the method for clearing the denominators. Let's take this method and let's move forward. So let's take this method and let's move forward to one that has a variable in the denominator. So in this case, we have 4 and y in our denominators. So my least common denominator in this particular example is going to be 4 times y, because I need to include the variable. So now I'm going to multiply everything by 4y. So the first term, 4y over 1. The second term, multiply by 4y over 1. And the last term, multiply by 4y over 1. So on the first term, my 4's cancel, and I'm left with y squared. In my second term, my y in the denominator cancels with the y in the numerator, and I have minus 12, because 3 times 4. And my 1/4 times 4y, the 4's cancel again here, and I'm left with a single y. So again, I have now cleared the denominators. I'm going to move my y to the left, and I now have everything I need to solve this quadratic. Again, this one does factor, so I'm going to factor this out. This is y minus 4 and y plus 3. So our two possible answers are y is equal to 4 and negative 3. Now, because we were having a variable in the denominator of the fractions, you always have to take your answers and verify that if you substituted them in for the variable in the denominator of your expression, that it wouldn't make that expression be 0. Because if it would, it'd be an extraneous solution that we can't use. Now, people wonder why we get answers that don't work. Well, if you think about it, you're multiplying by a variable when you multiply by y. And we don't know what that y variable is. So technically, I could be introducing a number that wouldn't work. I'd be multiplying by a number that's not going to give us a correct answer. Let's take another one. This one, my denominators are expressions y minus 3 and y plus 5. So the LCD for this is going to be the two expressions, y minus 3 and y plus 5. So by multiplying both sides of this expression by that denominator, I would again be reducing. So we're going to use the same process. I'm going to multiply by the LCD. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So that I could again reduce. I could take the y plus 5, reduces with y plus 5. the y minus 3 on the left with the y minus 3 at the top. And I'd be left with 6 times y plus 5 equals 5 times y minus 3. Simplify and solve. Now the one nice thing about this particular example is that this is set up as a proportion. I have one fraction equal to another fraction, which means I could just do cross multiplication. And you'll see by the cross multiplication, I would get the same setup that I have here. So again, once you're at this point, you simplify your problem. It looks like in this one, I'm not going to have any y squareds or quadratic, so I can simply do my basic algebra. So I'm going to move my 5y from my left to my right. So I have now positive y here. I'm going to move my 30 from the left to the right by subtracting 30 from both sides. And my answer y is negative 45. And if I go back up and plug in negative 45 for both denominators, I'll find that they don't come out to be 0, so it's a legitimate answer, and this answer works.